time for the bell. How many options will you sell? Fire up your platform, get ready to enter. But first, let's get the mindset centered. Hey, hey, let's go. We're not here to gamble, we're here to trade. We follow the plan, that's how we get paid. Testing, trading, have success. Find what works for you and forget the rest. Stats and probabilities is what we're about. Time to dismiss greed and doubt. Focus on the process, not the money. And the profits will flow like honey. Power Hour Live, let's start the show. Come on, trade hackers, get ready to go. 0-day options, time to make bank. Get locked and loaded, then be ready to blank. Hey!
Hey everyone, welcome to Power Hour Live, Tuesday, December 17th. S&P is down 34. NASDAQ down 125. Russell down 26. Dow down 372. Gold and silver both down about 0.25%. Bonds up about 0.25%. Notes a little bit green. 10-year yield down about 0.33%. Oil down 0.75. Natty gas up 4%. All the grains finished red. Euro slightly down. Pound slightly up. Bitcoin up 0.5%. VIX up over 12%. And pushing with this little downside action we're seeing in SPX. Put on a little Wooga that is currently still in range. My British iron condors, I had one double stop, and so I'm down right at about 1,000 on those. Let's see, day trading, down about 1,300-ish. I still have a position in Apple. I'll talk about that Reddit trade. There was a lot of things I did on that I did not like, that I do not like. But let's see what else. Did one price action, BIC, and booked 20% and then stopped out on the rest. So that'll be about a $400 or $500 winner. Calendars. Bring my calendars down. So currently open 5.7. It's up about 21%. I already took half off at 20%. My 6.7 single put calendar from Friday is up 17%. My 6.7 double calendar is up a little bit. 2.4 is down a bit. My 3.4 double from Monday is right at even. My 1.3 from earlier down a tiny bit. 2.3, I've got 2.3 from Monday and a 2.3 from today. Both are slightly red. Let's see. I think that, one DTE transformed into an upside vertical for tomorrow. So minimum profit 150, max profit 1650 if we close above 60.80 tomorrow. Tomorrow is FOMC. So that's it for me. Chad, how's your day? Looks like you're on mute.
Pretty light day of trading for me. I think I've got a little bit of pre-FOMC hesitation, I guess. Especially after I booked a little over $1,000 on day trading this morning and did one TLC trade and it got stopped on this. Well, what ended up being highs of day, really. And prices since, if it wouldn't have got stopped, I mean, it'd have been a really nice winner because got stopped and then price immediately came down. And was just really hesitant to enter.
You got in near lows of day?
Yeah, I got in on the consolidation at lows.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then that one big push up just was too much.
Yep.
And then I'm in the same Wooga that you are. So that's pretty much it. Just been a little hesitant.
I've got my 7.8 from yesterday that's just been underwater since I put it on. I'll take that off today. Actually, I don't know. I may leave that on. take it off before FOMC. Unless we get a bounce back towards center, I may leave it on through FMC. So we'll see. I'll decide what to do with that here at the end of the day. We keep pushing down, I might just close it.
Yeah, I haven't really liked the price action, but maybe it'll hold here at lows of day.
Let's see, 40 butterflies. Where are we at here? Got to check these early these days. Already at $1.40. VIX back above 15.5. Yeah, that's the one that's the last post I just posted in the calendar trade channel, Moel. I don't, for some reason Trade Steward closed half of it and then it closed the rest. They closed the rest at the 20% profit target, which I forgot to move. So that's that one. It's closed. I had some issues with Tradier and with Trade Steward today, and then some of it was while I was live streaming, so it's been a little bit scattered today, so I apologize, but I posted all my open positions in the calendar chat channel just so you know what I've got open. So on my day trades, I took a downside volume runner in MSTR. It was a winner. Had that big volume spike. I waited. It kind of consolidated. I got in right around here, chopped around a while, and then flushed. Got out right near lows of day at that point. So I didn't catch the whole thing, but it was a winner. Just did a couple contracts on that. And then Coinbase, I did a mighty 90 long. Got a little volume spike right there. I got long, caught that move up to the yesterday's low and took off 2/3 of my position. And then my last third, it just kind of bled out. So it ended up being a small loss on that one overall. And then Apple, I am still in. It's an upside continuation runner. It was just the strongest of all stocks. And so when it made that big push and then kind of pulled back somewhere in here, I got long, scaled out, scaled back in, and still holding. So I want to see if we can make another push through highs of day, also all-time highs. And then let's see. Oh, UPST. I talked about this on the live stream, looking at the daily chart. It came down to the same level that it bounced at yesterday. And so when it got above break even, well, what's going on with my chart? So when it got above break even here and bounced, I got long and it just kind of chopped around and just never had any follow through. So when it broke down below, I cut that. And then the frustrating one that I had was Reddit. So looking at the daily chart of Reddit, it closed just below all-time highs yesterday, and then it pulled back and bounced today. And so when it bounced, I'm not really thrilled about my entry here. You know, it pulled back and then bounced up here. and I didn't really have a good entry, to be honest. I got in when it started to bounce right here. I was just looking for it to potentially go up and retest or go through all-time highs, and it just came down. The big issue I had was I put in an order to close it because my max loss today that I had set for myself was $1,000. And so it was down about 700 and just kind of fallen over. So I put in an order to close it, and Toss gave me my little order confirmation. The only problem was it was on a different trade and I didn't notice it was on an SPX trade, but I thought I got filled to close it. And then I go back about 10 minutes later and I see it's still open. So I ended up taking like a $1,400 loss instead of a 700. So that was just a user error, unfortunately, on my part. So I am currently at about 1,400 with Apple still open on my day trades. Which Apple, even with the market trailing down, Apple is just kind of staying steady. Chad, I know you took that nice trade on Tesla this morning.
Yep. That was
Which,
gorgeous.
Yeah, so looking at the daily chart, it opened, gapped up again. We came right back down to the top of yesterday, which is where you got in.
Yeah.
And so did you get down here, have your order in, or did you wait for it to bounce off that level?
I when I saw it down there, I just jumped right in. Gotcha. When I saw it, yeah, down close to yesterday's high.
Gotcha.
I didn't.
And then
I didn't set an order. I just like, oh, it's getting right down there, and it was looking like maybe it was going to bounce. I just jumped in at the price I got.
Gotcha. And then it just shot up to new highs.
Yeah, if I would have waited,
and then
I wouldn't have got in, I don't think.
And then it got weak, came back down and flushed through lows of day.
Yeah.
But then rallied again. So it's been kind of its own little animal today. In other stocks, biggest green, GME was up more. GameStop getting a little pop the last couple days. Back up above $30. Pfizer's up 4%. DKNG's up 4%. Tesla's up 3%. Riot is up 2%. Chinese stocks getting a little bump. SMCI, I'm short still from Monday. It kind of popped up to that level of the previous day's low and then retraced. Today it came back up and retraced again, so I'm still holding that one overnight. Disney's up 1%. On the red side, Reddit down 5.5%. AVGO finally pulling back, down almost 5%. CVS down 4%, Rivian down 4%. We have let's see. I think it's Wednesday we have one. Oh yeah, Wednesday after the bell's Micron. Nothing today. SPX still trailing lower, not quite down to lows of day. So for tomorrow, FOMC at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will start streaming about 15 minutes before FOMC. I've got all three of my FOMC trades that I'll do. I'll do the diagonal trade in the morning, and then I'll do the FOMC Iron Condor and FOMC Long Strangle. Those are all in my trade plan if you haven't seen those. But we'll start streaming about 15 minutes before the data comes out. So about 12:45 Central. Thursday is GDP and unemployment claims pre-market, and Friday pre-market core PCE price index. Apple made another little dip. See if we can bounce here. Otherwise, I'll just cut it. Krish, I know you had some questions on that day trading video I posted yesterday. Are you on here? Or anybody else? If you've seen it and have any questions, happy to talk about that or anything else. Pretty slow right now. It's in the day trading chat, posted after the market closed yesterday. I always look at volume. I don't specific. I mean, if I'm, like I said, I'm really focused on the structure of the daily chart to begin with. And then I kind of dial into the 5-minute chart to find an entry. And so, I mean, I always have the previous days open, high, low, close, and volume. So if that ends up being the thing that gets me in, then yeah, I'll use it. But I'm really just kind of looking for a level to draw my line in the sand and manage risk around.
And Vic's still climbing.
Yesterday I had too many positions open. So I'm trying to find that happy medium. I think really having no more than 3 is probably ideal for me. But at the same time, it's not like I got all my positions at the same time. I mean, I kind of scaled in and scaled out. So it wasn't unmanageable, but I would say yesterday I probably had too many. Yeah, so my stops are just whatever that line in the sand is that I choose, right? I'm just trying to find a level that makes sense on the chart. And then I position size, I think I mentioned in the video where, like today, I didn't want to take any more risk than $1,000 on a trade. And so trading the 3-day options, you just kind of have to use a little bit of an estimation of what that would be. And so kind of at a high level, the way that I kind of think about it is if I'm trading 0 DTE options and my max risk is $1,000, I'm basically going to use $1,000 worth of buying power if I'm trading a 0 DTE option. 1 DTEs move a little bit slower, but with the 1 DTE option, you could, if you get a decent move against you pretty quickly, I mean, you could be down 50% on that pretty quick. So I look at 1 DTE as if I'm trying to take a max risk of $1,000, I might use $2,000 in buying power. If it's a 2 DTE, I might use $3,000 in buying power to estimate a potential $1,000 risk. 3 DTE might estimate 4K, 4 DTE 5K, 7 DTE 7K is just kind of a quick back of the envelope way to think about it. Well, the DTE depends on the day, as always. I'm always using right around 50 delta, if that's what you mean. Yeah, and I'm not sure how much overnight positions I will do. I think I'll be very selective if I hold positions overnight. I held a few overnight last night and still got a couple carryovers, but really I want to treat it more just like day trading. So tomorrow I'm not going to do any 0 DTE. I'm not going to sell any premium in the morning. I'm just going to do my 3 FOMC trades that are on my trade plan. The diagonal in the morning, and then the iron condor and the iron condor before the data is released, and then the long strangle after the Jerome presser starts. Yeah, so for looking at the stocks, Krish, I just, I've got just kind of the main ones. I've got kind of my main board that you always see on the day trading, which is your Apple, Amazon, Google, Coinbase, Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta. And then I've got another board of another 8 stocks that are kind of interchangeable. And really it's just what's moving. I mean, kind of like I did with Apple today. Ideally, if the S&P is sideways to down, but Apple's strong, that's probably going to be a good candidate because, I want to, if I'm going long, that is. So just looking at relative strength. So it's just a matter of watching and looking at stocks. If I see something moving from my main watch list, I just kind of scan my main watch list here and see what's up or down the most. And I'll peek at a bunch of these and then decide what looks interesting. And then I'm looking at, like UPST, I'm looking at, it just has been hitting recent highs here lately and it's pulled back and it's bounced the last couple of days. So, that's interesting to me because it looks like it wants to go back and kind of retest those highs or all-time highs, kind of the same thing like Apple today. That's one reason that I was interested in Apple. Not only was it stronger than everything else, but it was right under all-time highs. So I want to try to stay out of stuff that's just that I think might just chop sideways or doesn't really have a, I want to take a directional bias. I want to take a directional assumption on something and have a justified reason for that, like UPST, for example. It's been hitting these recent highs, it dipped below, and it's bounced a couple times off, kind of rejected that level. So I'm looking for reasons that make sense to me that it might make a move. For position sizing, no, I don't necessarily look at number of longs or shorts. Just I think I'll probably end up just deciding that kind of a max of 3 positions at a time is what's reasonable. Well, I picked it up a few days ago because it had a big move, and when it was kind of pushing up and looked like it wanted to break through these recent highs here, I kind of caught that little move right there. And then I just kind of kept it on my radar. And when I saw it bounce yesterday, I was trading it. And when it bounced today, I was trading it. Still hasn't had any follow through, but yeah, so like if I just have my list here, and if I do a quick run through of just kind of looking at where they're at, then I'll put them on my day trading board if I see something of interest, so I can kind of just keep my eyes on it. SPX still trailing lower. I mean, it really comes down to sorry to wear you out, Chris. Uh, it really comes down to just everything that I talk about in the price action futures day trading course is I'm looking for a reason that I think it's going to make a move. I'm drawing my line in the sand so I can manage risk around it, and I'm utilizing a certain amount of risk that I want to allocate to see if I'm going to be right. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So I'm willing to risk $1,000 to see if I'm right on this. And if it ends up being a monster like Tesla was for me yesterday, that's great. Some will end up being monsters, like 10-fold winners. Some will end up being losers, but you're managing risk around those levels, and then you're trying to squeeze as much profit as possible out of it. Well, my max loss is kind of a max that I don't want to lose more than. But my line in the sand on the chart is what I'm really focused on, managing risk around. So that's why I keep saying that's kind of my line in the sand to manage risk around, because that's based on whatever it is I'm looking at. That's where I'm like, well, if it goes below that, then I was wrong. My thesis was wrong, and I need to get out. Yeah, so I try to lock in some profits and take some chips off the table um, at like between 10 and 20%. So again, I'm trying to, sometimes I'll go for just to try to take some chips off the table as quickly as possible, which would be about 10%. Sometimes if I think, there's a better chance of it making a little bit bigger move, I might not take any off till about 20%, but kind of 10 to 20% is my sweet spot of where I'd start taking some off. Yeah, I always take off at least 50%. Sometimes just, depending on what I'm seeing or what my assumption is, sometimes I'm taking 60 or 70% off at that first profit target and letting the rest go. Um, and then sometimes I'll scale back in too if it really, is doing what I think it's really doing what I want it to do. I might scale out, and then if I still feel like it's still kind of in motion to do what I want it to do, then I'll scale back in and scale out. So if I'm long, I may get in, scale out some at 10%, pulls back, get back in, scale out as it goes up. And, I did that a little bit in Apple today. So I got in, I think it was right here at about 9:15. I think I hit my first profit target on this 9:45 candle when it punched above the that kind of consolidation area, and then it pulled back a little bit, started to bounce. I scaled back in and then hit some more profits when it broke highs of day, and then pulled back. I don't think I scaled in again. Maybe I did. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. So if it continues to act like I want it to, I'll kind of scale in and scale out. How does the profit target work on the risk reward? What do you mean? I mean, if you're scaling in and scaling out, you're going to obviously, if it continues to do what you want to do it, you're going to make more money. But as we know, it doesn't always do what we want it to. So I don't look at it as a necessarily a risk to reward. I look at it as here's how much I'm willing to risk, and I'm going to try to squeeze as much profit out of it as possible if it does what I want it to. So I focus more on the risk, and hopefully the rewards are a lot bigger. All good, Anil. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm here for. You know, I took that concept kind of out of the Best Loser Wins book by Tom Hugard. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but his kind of methodology is, you know, there in the way that he trades, he doesn't think of anything as risk versus reward. He thinks of it as manage your risk and try to get the big rewards. So I definitely don't trade like him, but I do from the concept of, you know, two of his biggest concepts are manage your risk and let the runners ride, right? No, you're not looking at it as like a, you know, 1-2 risk reward or a 1-3 or anything like that. It's pick your amount of risk and then try to make as much profit. So I do, you know, adopt that methodology. And then his other big thing is he adds to winners. Now, I definitely don't do it in the same degree like he does, but you know, I just talked about I do, you know, if it continues to do what I want it to do, scaling in and scaling out. I don't think he scales out at all. I think he just will continue to add to winners, keep adding, and really press as it goes this direction, which I don't do, but S&P down to 60.35, new lows of day. NASDAQ approaching lows of day. VIX pushing through highs. Where's my little Wooga? He's probably not doing so hot. It's still right at break even. At the break even, down a little bit. 35 butterflies trading for about $1.50, $1.60 maybe. I will say this kind of day trading is not something I'm definitely not going to do it every day. It's just, like I'm still in an Apple position and I got to watch it. I mean, I guess I could set a stop loss, but so having to be focused on the screen all day is not necessarily what I want to do every single day. But like today, I kind of knew today wasn't going to be a great day because it's pre-FOMC. So today would have been a good day, just not to day trade, really, unless, except for just maybe like the first hour. Are you talking about the Wuga Abash? Yeah, I was just saying it's at the break even at expiration, but yeah, the trade's down a little bit currently as far as current P&L. Yep.
Well, I did 6. No chance I'm going my normal day before FOMC.
What are you nervous about? Five-point bounce, or right back in it. If you're nervous, that may mean your position size is too big.
Yep, exactly. I only did 2 on this Wuga. Normally I do 4 or 6, and not worried one bit.
Yeah, I mean, if like you've got to you've got to accept the risk before you put the trade on. Before you put the trade on, you've just got to accept if this is a loss. If I take a full loss, I've accepted that amount of risk.
Yeah, and
And
that's something with me with TLC with these low premiums. Like I've found myself being more nervous the last week and a half, 2 weeks, just because like the premium is so small and the range is so tight, and so I think I talked about this a couple days ago, maybe or last week, about scaling down in size. You
yeah,
start feeling that anxiety.
size fixes a lot of things. A lot of psychological issues can be fixed with position size.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's been hard for me to when I start feeling that anxiety, and it stems from the definitely this past couple weeks has stemmed from lack of premium. Yeah, man, good to see the VIX getting pumped up today. I was hoping for that. I don't know how long it's going to stay there, but
Yeah, I think it's just getting pumped out so it can get sucked out tomorrow.
yeah.
We need something like earth rattling, pump this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it,
That's
Moel. I mean, think about what what are premiums like? Um, what do we have? The VIX was pretty much going up most of the day. I mean, I guess it came down to lows there early.
Yeah.
But
Hit 15 early and then bounced.
yeah. And I also knew VIX wasn't going to keep going down with FOMC tomorrow. So when it did hit lows of the day, I was like, that's not going to stay there.
Russell, the weakest of the bunch today, Elliot. Weakest of the bunch. Well, are we not going to get another little bounce from Apple?
Fifty-fifty chance. Abash, there'll be a rally in January.
All right. I'm out of my Apple. Yeah, Nvidia's been weak for the last, whatever it is, couple weeks. So that's kind of holding things down. Apple's been strong. Tesla's been strong. Meta's been sideways. Microsoft has been up a little bit. Amazon's been continuing to push a little bit higher. Goog has hit new highs. So yeah, we got some of the big boys bullish. Some are kind of sideways to bearish. So it's just kind of creating a situation where the SPX is just kind of chopping sideways the last couple weeks. Although, I mean, we just hit a new all-time high on the 6th. It was only 11 days ago. $40 butterfly trading for about $1.70. 25 minutes to go. Just gonna hold my 7-8 till tomorrow. Are you asking about this that's on my screen? This is a calendar spread. Wooga, getting a little bounce. Better put in my profit target. I'll take half off at 50%.
Oh yeah, we'll go back and play.
So I put in an order at $1.70 to get out of half. All right, working a 40 fly. My 7/8 is just, it's going to be, it's the P&L line's just pretty flat. So I don't look at it as too much risk holding overnight. Is that what you're asking? I'm not sure what you're asking. I would treat them as two separate trades. Yeah, no, even if I add, I don't necessarily treat them as a double calendar. I still treat them as each separate. Personally. Tesla's creeping back up to highs. Just a few bucks away. All right, working a 40 and a 45. Dick's rolling over a little bit. Meech, welcome back. Glad to have you, buddy. Hey, by the way, I know you're blaming me for your 1256 contract issues. Mine was actually not in my portfolio margin account. It was in my standard margin account, I realized. So you can't blame me. Looks like they pumped a little juice back into Wooga. Figured a bounce like that would have been close to 50%. Oh yeah, no, I agree, Meech. You can never take responsibility. You know, that's our motto around here. But that is a good public service announcement. So Meech found out and informed me that there is a very specific issue involving 1256 contracts, which are options on SPX, which we all trade. And the issue is at the end of the year, if you have any SPX options on at the end of the year, but they don't settle until the first of the year, there is and I wrote down my notes. I can't even remember exactly what you told me, Meech, but there's an issue with the difference between where they, quote unquote, expire versus where they settle. And it could have some tax ramifications. So I need to find my notes. I'm gonna have more specifics about that, Meech. If you kind of remember it right off the top of your head, feel free to. Basically, the bottom line is any SPX contracts, make sure you close them all out and they're settled before the end of the year. Yeah, so if you sell an iron Condor and you buy to close it at the end of the year, there's a chance that it rolls into the next tax year. Up to 60.45. SPX getting a little bouncy into the close. Working a 50 fly. I'm going to cancel my 40. So working a 45 and a 50. No, it does not affect only portfolio margin accounts because I had the issue come up when I did my taxes in a standard margin account. Basically, I was showing a lot more gains in the account than I actually had. And so I was arguing with my accountant. It's like, there's no way I did not make that much. And he's like, well, that's what TD Ameritrade said you made. I was like, that's just not correct. And so anyway, we just basically filed it based on Well, I don't want to give tax advice here. You just need to talk to your accountant. Let's just say I did something different than Meech. Meech did the right thing. I did the wrong thing. Back to 45.
Well, VIX, get back up there.
Man, they pumped some juice into Wooga.
Oh, yeah.
Got about 2.5 minutes till MOC. No early fill on Mr. Mahomes with this movement. Although the 45 looks like it could be close. Landon's my IT guy, so if I get bribed, you guys heard it here. Yeah. Lando's driving a Lambo next week. You'll know what happened. Ruga's up about 21%. Kind of smells like MOC got leaked and it's a big buy number. That seems to be happening lately, where it'll make a 5 to 10 point move. Tesla is heading up to highs of day. Tesla has no chill. Just up, up, and away. MOC incoming. Sell side 765 million. Filled on the 50s. My bot filled on the 50s also. Uga is now a little bit red, but still in range. Settle back down to 45. Make everybody happy. And by everybody, I mean both of my positions and Chad's Wooga. Apple had a little spike up. Meta trading at lows, Google trading at lows. Tesla has not punched through highs of day yet. Bitcoin futures hit 108,960 today. All right, SPX up to 60.50.
SPX wants highs of day in about 20 minutes.
Tesla still wants it. It's trying for highs. My calendars are liking the bounce. All calendars green, except for my 7-8. 6 minutes. Wuga needs below 48 to break even, a little below 49. SPX does not look like it wants to accommodate. Apple bouncing, Microsoft bouncing, Tesla bouncing. Apparently, I should have taken my Apple to the bell. It just hit a new high. 53. Less than 5 minutes. Back in the 51s. VIX almost got to 16, back down to 15.59. Less than 3 minutes. My vertical is trading at about 330. Tesla did not get through highs of day. Yet. All right, 2 minutes. Wooga looks like it's going to be a loser. Unless we drop here. Mahomes above 53 would be a winner. One minute. Back down to 51. Yes, that's correct, Moel. And that's why I always show the orders to really show you what it looks like. But yeah, that's what will be left, correct. And it doesn't look like a good close for Mahomes. Ding, ding, ding. Ugh. Nasty close for Mahomes. 60, 50.63. And Wooga just out of bounds. All right, my friends, that's a wrap. Live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 18th. Chad will be streaming live at the market open for day trading. And then we will be back for Power Hour. Take care. Have a good night. Talk to everyone soon. Cheers.